Hey guys, welcome back. This is iGymTM, and I wanted to talk to you today about furnaces. Alright, so here's the furnace, little guy that we all know and love. Pretty simple and easy to use. You just throw your coal in here, and then you throw some blocks you want to smelt in the top. It smelts her up, and you're good to go. System's nice, simple, straightforward. I'm sure that we've all used it multiple times in our worlds. And it's actually pretty nice also because it holds 512 smelting capability when filled with a full stack of coal. I am using coal because you can find that about anywhere. I know you can use like sticks, blaze rods, but you know what? We're going with what you can get a lot of in the world. So coal. Hey, coal works. 512 items. It's great, but this maxes out at 64. So that means that every 64 you got to pull the items out, pull the items out, pull the items out. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not the most efficient. You can make your life a lot easier if you put a chest next to the things, though, because then you can just throw the things that you want to, when you pull them out of the smelter, you can just throw them into this chest, and you fill it up, and you have loads more inventory. And then you can put extra coal into the side over here, and then more cookery bits up here of things that you want to throw in, and you can just kind of manually do it all together. And since you now have a chest for storage, you can hold another whopping 14,336 smelting capability worth of coal, which is great, but it's still manual. So you're going to be standing here, and if you got a lot to smelt, you're going to be doing a lot of picking and moving and picking and moving. So let's automate it a little bit. And we've added just 3 hoppers. Makes things a little easier, and it actually increases our capability by a fair amount. 16,896 versus the 14 and change down here, because the hopper does hold an extra 5 stacks of coal. And this is great, because then you can just kind of, instead of having to manually move everything around inside of here, you just throw everything into the 2 chests, your fiery whatsits, your coal and stuff into there, and it'll automatically feed it in. Your cookery bits up there, automatically feed them in, and automatically pull them out and put them into this chest. Woohoo, that's great. That means you're free to do other things like, I don't know, stare at a wall of sand or something. That's great news, but it's ugly. And if you're trying to make a base, you may want to make it look a little prettier. And so we've got this guy. And this guy, once again, because of extra hoppers, it holds 19,456 smelting capabilities worth of coal. And it's got some features that I like. Alright, so you can still see that your version is running by looking at the glass here. You've got a trap chest now in the middle, so if you throw in something you didn't accidentally want to do, like, oh, no, I needed that wood for something else, I don't want to turn it into charcoal, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Nothing gets moved through until you close the chest. And it's got these lights. And what these lights do is, let's say I want to smelt some up, so let me go ahead and just throw in a couple of stacks of coal. Oh, would you look at that? The lights turned on. What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. Over here, next to this last little hopper, right before we hit the furnace, we can see it's filling up with coal. And so all that light means is that, guess what? You've got reserves, because the furnace already has 64 coal in it. And that light lets me know you've still got, well, like we said down there, like what, 548 items? What was that? Is that 548? Yeah, 512. Lets you know you still have 512 items worth, at minimum, to fire, which is great. So when that light turns out, you just know you need to add more coal into the system. You throw it into here, you're good to go. And then the items you want to cook, you throw them into here. So let's go ahead and just say, we'll throw in like 8. That way it's a one, just one full piece worth of coal. You throw it in, and you can, bam! Look at that. You see that furnace is going. That's fantastic. By the way, the furnace is hooked up to this little dropper elevator, which feeds into the other chest up top. And so, I'm stuck. I'm stuck, people. There we go. And so we can have everything in a row. It's nice and easy to access. And would you look at that? Now this light is on. I have Crispy Doodles. And when I click on it, I can see that, look, I do. That little chest is going away quite the thing. So, once again, fully automated. Just looks a lot prettier. A lot prettier. It's really gorgeous. I like it a lot. But we do have a small problem. That's just one furnace, right? And so this entire time that, I threw the coal in, and yeah, we haven't been talking all that much, but we've done 4. We've done 4 ingots. And if you've got, say, like, you want to turn a bunch of cobble into some smooth stone because you want to make some bricks to make yourself a giant castle or something, one furnace isn't going to cut it. I mean, you could stack, a whole bunch of banks of furnaces together, but then you have to manually feed them all, and you've got to manually remove all the items. So let's go ahead and let's double the speed with the double furnace system. Double furnace system is fantastic. It's got 33,792 smelting capability. And once again, we have the chest up top where we put the fiery what's-its. We've got the cookery bits that go into the middle. And then we've got the crispy doodles out the bottom. And again, completely just double the speed of the second of the one design. But it's ugly, especially with this big old lump sticking out here. And, you know, we're like, hey, let's make this look pretty. There's an issue with that, though. Making the double chest look pretty, you're going to run into some issues. Because to evenly feed the furnaces, you know, you need to have each of them fed with a hopper system. And to get that fed, you've got 2 hoppers underneath this chest here. Oh, fell in a hole. And there's the 2 hoppers for the chest, and you can see them just kind of going around and feeding into the furnaces. But one leg is longer than the other, which means that they're not going to fill equally. And that can be a bit of a problem, because that means that when you're running on empty, you know, when this light turns off, you're like, all right, I got some items left, You might have one furnace going quite the thing, and the other one not going away. And that bugs me, because that means that you're losing half your efficiency. I mean, the cookery bits is easy because it's directly on top. It's going to be fed equally no matter what. So I don't really like that. I mean, it'll still work. It's not a bad system. It could be fixed a little bit. Once again, we've got the crispy doodles over here, fed with the same kind of system where we just have the comparator feeding into some blocks coming around. So we still get the idea that, hey, we got items that need to be cooked and everything like that, but it's not perfect, you know? I like to have my items and my coal, my fuel evenly distributed among all the furnaces that I'm working on, and it just makes my life a lot easier. And you know what? I'd like to know how much coal I've got left too. That would be really nice to have. So I did this. Remember that wall of sand I was talking about earlier? Well, it was just holding my grand creation. Man, that's a lot of sand I put in there. Holy crap. The ham sandwich. No, it's not called the ham sandwich. This is my Super Industrial Auto Smelter 6000 of Justice. And it's got everything that I would have wanted. We've got nice, simple, clean-looking design. We have a trap chest on both the coal entry and the item entry, so you don't have to worry about anything being distributed until you put things in. See? Nothing's getting moved out of it until I close the chest. And when I close the chest, look at that. The light turns off, letting me know that it's filling. And I put a little sign here, multiples of 8 for maximum efficiency. You don't have to, but it makes things better. When you're ready to fill, it's on. When it's off, it's distributing. So when that's off, I know there's items in here being distributed. I don't have to touch it. And then over here, the cookery bits. Same thing. I'm going to just go ahead and throw in what I want, close it up, it'll automatically start distributing. And the best part is, they all lit up at once. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. 8 furnaces all going at the exact same time. Evenly distributed fuel, evenly distributed items. When this little guy here is flashing, letting you know it's working, not just, oh, I've got things. It's going, hey, we're actively giving you things. And look at that. They're coming. Oh. There we are. They're coming in nice and hot. And this is 8 times faster than using a single chest. I mean, it's more than 8 times bigger, but once you put it in once, you're good to go. Oh, and the bar graphs, the health bars. Look at this. Both short-term and long-term coal storage. So short-term coal storage is essentially the hopper that's attached to the furnace. And when all 8 of those hoppers are filled up, I've got 24,576 smelting capability. That's a lot of items. But I decided I want to take a step further because I had the room in the build to do so. And now we've got long-term coal storage. And when this is fully lit up, I'll have 135,168 smelting capability. That's insane. I don't know if I would ever smelt that. Okay, I probably would, but still, that's a lot of stuff to smelt. I could fill this up and then not worry about it for the rest of the time I'm doing Minecraft for at least a month or so. Still, it's awesome. And it looks confusing as hell, which is awesome. Because it's not confusing as hell. This is actually really easy. The big reason for this giant checkerboard up here is just to make sure that the signal doesn't, get passed through. But it's just a bunch of small little circuits, and they're all stupid easy. All right, so we'll start with the green circuit right here, which I've clearly labeled. And the green circuit handles coal distribution. And all that happens is the coal is brought down and over to this side. And if you look, you can see that these hoppers right here, the ones that are right next to the redstone dust, those are turned off because they've got redstone dust on them, or next to them, so they're activated. They won't drop anything down into the chests, which is great. Or sorry, they won't suck up anything at all, which is great. And what that means is that I can just have the items that come down get fed all the way across. These hoppers are all turned off, all turned off, all turned off, until this hopper gets an item. As soon as this hopper gets an item, bam, it'll activate that comparator, which will send a signal across, which will cause all of these hoppers at once to go, give me something! And they all suck an item down, and then bam, down one more level. And then they get distributed into the chests all at once, evenly distributed, every single time. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then we have the orange circuit, right here, for the cookery bits. Exact same thing. They get fed down, go in here, these hoppers are locked, items go all the way across into this last hopper's like, I have an item, which means that all of them have items. That little comparator turns on, and then bam! They all drop down. Now you'll notice I got chests here, and these chests are just so I can throw in, millions and millions of items and not worry about it, and then just get fed into here. And there's no distribution down here at collection point because it's just being collected. They all get fed over here into this dropper elevator and straight up into the Crispy Doodles chest. Wiring up these little lights so I can see when things are being distributed. Really easy. The nice thing about chests and comparators is that the comparator will give off a signal if there's stuff in the chest. And I don't need to know how much stuff is in the chest. I just have a little signal coming in, and it gets into this inverted block. So that means that if I even have one item in there, boom, it tells me I have an item in here, and it just feeds across into the redstone lamp. Same thing with the cyan circuit, so I can see whenever I have anything inside of that chest, and if there's nothing in the chest, everything turns off. It's lovely, absolutely fantastic. The flashing light that happens up here is just purely because this redstone block, or this redstone lamp, is attached to the redstone ladder that I use for the dropper elevator, and as the light turns off and on, it lets me know that things are going in. Kind of kills two birds with one stone, which I think is great. Now the monster. Trust me, it's not bad at all. When you look at this, all it is just a comparator signal that's being split up across 15 blocks wide. The first comparator signal is being fed off of the hopper, and that lets me know how much coal I have inside the hopper, which is wonderful. I look inside of here, those are always full, so this is, my emergency reserves. And then I look in the hopper, it's fully filled up. And that just is picked up by the comparator. That comparator strength is preserved down the comparator chain, and then just fed down the long line of redstone, and then into this little redstone signal elevator, which transfers the signal up, and then across to my health bar. Second thing with the chest, the long-term coal storage is just hooked up to this chest. Once again, fed through a comparator chain, preserving the signal, setting it all the way across these 15, and then just being sent up. So it looks complicated. So people look at it and go, wow, that looks incredibly difficult. You are a god of redstone. And you're like, nope, super easy. Super easy. And then you put them into this tutorial. Well, not really tutorial, just show off. And you can carry everything to build that entire monstrosity on your person, because Steve is the Hulk. You don't need that much. 8 furnaces, 77 hoppers, 33 glowstone lamps, 12 trap chests, 10 regular chests, 12 comparators, 95 redstone repeaters, 129 redstone dust, 221 redstone torches, 11 droppers, 636 building blocks, which may seem like a lot, but you can use cobble. I know you've got cobble everywhere. You probably got heaps and heaps of it just being chucked automatically into like lava and into cactuses and stuff because you just find it worthless. Not anymore. 15 slabs or stairs, which you can make from the cobble. And then carpet, anvil, ender chest, crafting tables to taste. You don't need those bits for the build, but I figured if I'm going to have a nice looking super auto smelter 6000 of justice, I may as well have an ender chest, a crafting table, and an anvil, because those things are a necessity for anything that you're probably going to be smelting. It seems like a lot, but guess what? This is survival friendly, and I'm going to stick to my guns that it is survival friendly because, well, let me show you something. Because I've built it in my survival multiplayer server. I'm on the Third Rock SMP, and I've built this. There it is right there. Nice, clean design. Everything laid out exactly as you saw before. Short-term storage, long-term storage. And if we pop around the back, The one thing that you will probably have to do in survival is scaffolding, because this is tall and you want to be able to move around things easily. And so, yeah, I built some scaffolding, but it's very easy to do, incredibly simple, and it lets you smelt everything in the world. You never have to worry about it again. Now, this is not designed for just your everyday furnace usage. Everyday furnace usage, yeah, I'm using a regular furnace. But this is if you go on mining runs with friends, if you decide you want to build a giant castle and you've got loads of cobble that you need smelted up, or if anything of that matter, everybody just chuck it in and you can go about your business, and this will chew on it at 8 times the regular rate. And when you're ready to go, everything's in here, and it's just perfect and amazing, and I love it, and I think you guys will too. So, if you got any questions about this, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. I mean, if you got any suggestions on how to make it more efficient, well, I'm always looking out to make things better, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I think you will be too. You guys have a good one.